Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Academy of Leadership Sciences, Switzerland, here in Zurich. The subject that we are going to talk about today it is the impact of the social responsibility in the leadership domain. My name is Professor Dr. Fadil Çitaku. I am the CEO of this academy, and I am the scientist of leadership. I have investigated three German-speaking countries and three English-speaking countries regarding the subject of leadership and came with a model of Chitaku's model of leadership competencies, which has been part of it published in British Medical Journal. And just to share with you, within this model, we have 63 competencies that can be learned, and they are generated in 5 different kind of domains, such as social responsibility, innovation, self-management, task management, and justice orientation. Today, as mentioned earlier, I'm going to talk about the social responsibility and its impact on leadership. I'm going to bring 2 insights from the science to justify how important is social responsibility, because many times it seems that leaders do not value enough the social responsibility, and that's why they lose their own professionality. So one reason why we need the social responsibility, it is pretty simple actually. So as a human being, we are very much dependent in the social context. So we couldn't even survive actually without social context. So what happened with us, we get a lot of information from our body due to our hormones there, neurotransmitters, and so on. But we get a lot of information. How do we see the outside world with our sensation organs, such as eyes, nose, mouth, ears, and so on. So all this information, it comes to the brain, and brain really gets a lot of information. So it tries, of course, to filtrate as much as possible, but it gets a lot of information, and the most of information it gets actually the old part of the brain, so-called. So that means many decisions it could simply be that have been made before this information come to so-called new part of the brain, prefrontal cortex, that it is in charge for the reasonable decision making. So from this point of view, it is very important, that we are always sensitive when we have to do with the human being, because it seems that our brain, it has a lot of biases actually, and anytime it is in one new area, in one new circumstance, in one new medium, so it makes us afraid actually. And what it means, so sometimes we hyper react. So it is very important, in social context to see how do we actually go on with our employees, how do we communicate with them, how do we speak with them, do we have enough patience to listen to them? Because if we don't do that, so the brain of those people will have biases as well, and they might misunderstand us, and as a result, the performance at your company will go lower and lower. So the other thing that I want with you to discuss is the new insights again from the science. So at the University of California in Los Angeles for a couple of years, it was a study published by Eisenberger and colleagues, and I had the opportunity to study at this university, part of my Master of Medical Education, for a long time in the meanwhile. And what she found, it's a very important thing actually. It justifies this importance of the social responsibility. So they put in the lab and computer tomography 3 people, and they asked them to play, actually, to play the ball, giving to each other the ball. And, suddenly the scientist said to one of those who was under this computer tomography, to both of them, excuse me, told that don't share the ball with the third one, you see. So what they found to the third person, as he was expecting, the ball that they throw to him, they found in his brain that the regions that are in charge for the biological pain, they got activated actually. So as he didn't get the ball, so those not consciously, those cells, they got fired. So exactly in the same regions, when we can see in computer tomography what happens when somebody is injured, for example, and has biological pain. So it tells us actually that the sociological pain, it is just as bad as the biological pain. So now, who cares? You could say, what does this have to do with leadership and business? It has to do a lot. Because, if you, for example, were shouting at somebody that didn't perform good at this time, so what's going to be in his head? It's going to be exactly the same. Those part of the brain that are in charge to recipient the pain, they will get them activated. So if we see that, what happened? This is the pure stress, And in its stress, our brain, it activates actually survival. So that means it activates, the hormones of epinephrine and cortisol and so on. And a lot of oxygen goes actually in those parts, and not enough oxygen, it goes in the prefrontal cortex, which he or she can be more productive and can be more innovative. So if you shout to someone and then afterwards you ask him to be creative, just forget it. It is impossible. Biologically it is impossible. So this is important for you to know as well. How do we go on with our employees? How do we correct them if they made some mistakes? Because it is very important that those people have one safe environment. Only when we are safe, then our prefrontal cortex, can be innovative, can be creative, and we can perform much better. So we have now 2 reasons to think about and to reflect about that, how important it is, this social responsibility, this caring after your employees. If he or she has some difficulties, if he or she makes some mistakes, so try to help her to correct, but don't shout at her. Do not put her down, because if you put her down, what means that means this lower part of the body will get activated, this amygdala will get activated, and then will capture the whole brain. So we call it amygdala hijacking actually. That means he or she will not be able to perform good. He or she will be afraid of you, and this amygdala will be even more hyperactivated. So that means the performance will go lower and lower, and your company will lose. So it's as simple as this, actually. So the other important thing is as well, that you take time to talk to your employees, really asking how they feel, because we are human beings and sometimes, we don't feel well. Sometimes those people, they have families and it could be that they have one child that it is ill or husband is ill or whatever. So asking them how you feel, caring after them, showing um, empathy, showing emotional empathy as well, which means caring after them, this will put them in one safer environment and it will feel them feel safe, let's say. And then, when they realize that you care after them, the more you care after them, the more safer they will be actually, and the more creative and productive they will be. And your firm, your company will get more profit. So this is all about. So invest, to summarize that, invest on your um, leadership competencies. The first domain, as I said, over 6 different kind of countries, it came in our model, social responsibility. So be a good social responsible person and leader, and in order, people to like you, to follow you, and really to work, um, with heart for your company and for yourself, that you can, get even more and more results, which of course you aim. So thank you for listening. And I will carry on as a scientist of leadership, always to share with you some insights and some knowledge of the science of leadership. And we conduct some workshops as well. We have now in April the 7th in Zurich, here at Academy of Leadership Sciences, Switzerland, in collaboration with the Global Woman from London and Salvatring from Ljubljana. We will conduct a great workshop. Many people are interested to come from all over the world. So if you want to know more about, if you want to come face to face in Zurich and discuss with us, we will share our experience, we will share our knowledge, we will share our insights from the science with you, with only one reason: to make better leaders in order to make a better world. Thank you and have a nice day.